The main character stood among the ruins of a destroyed city, leaning on a glowing blue blade. He never would have thought that death could come so quickly. His blade was covered in blood and he was shaking. He looked forward with his blue eyes. His name is Wenyu, and as a 4th-class soldier, he was sent on a mission as soon as he joined the squad. There was bloody tissue next to his leg. Wenyu stood in front of a battlefield full of human corpses and monsters mixed together. They were betrayed by the main team, and they gave their lives to lure the level 5 mutants into a trap. Someone was running quickly through the ruins. The main character said that they became bait and cannon fodder that no one cares about, but this is for the best. Behind him stood a huge monster surrounded by red energy. Wenyu sharply raised his sword. He shouted that he had enough of this apocalypse. The air swirled around him, raising dust from the ground. The main character opened his eyes wide. Blood sprayed. Wenyu opened her mouth wide, surrounded by red energy. The monster pierced his body with its hand, and he dropped his sword. The wind stirred the leaves on the trees surrounding the ordinary city. The main character suddenly stood up in bed, screaming. He opened his eyes wide. Looking at his hands, he asked in bewilderment that he had not died. He turned his head towards the clock lying on the table. He saw the date, May 5, 2117. Wenyu wondered if this date was not a year ago, and if he had regressed. He noticed an alert on his phone. Feng wrote to him asking him to work overtime on the weekend because the project is urgent and this project is the strategic breakthrough for this year. He wrote that if he did a good job, his performance would be taken into account at the end of the year, and if progress was delayed, it would not be easy to explain to the boss. An hour later he asked if he was there. After one missed call, he asked him to answer. Wenyu thought about working overtime. He thought the company had been dissolved at the end of the year. He put the phone on the bed. The main character exclaimed that he had returned to the past. Covering his face with his hand, he laughed and said that death is the end of everything, but after it he has a chance to live again. Looking ahead with determination, he thought that he would live again, and he would no longer be cannon fodder. Clenching his hand into a fist, Wenyu thought that no one would exploit him anymore, and it was his destiny to be the master of his own destiny. Looking at the backpack and knife lying on the table, he thought that, if he was not mistaken, this was the first day of the apocalypse and the zombie invasion. Putting on the backpack, he thought, surviving the apocalypse, step by step, as time goes on, the gap between people will become wider and wider. Holding a knife in his hand, the main character thought that it was important to be prepared in advance, otherwise he would end up like in his previous life. Hearing a scream calling for help, he turned around sharply. The woman behind the door asked her husband what was wrong with him and asked him not to bite her. Someone knocked down the door with force, which crumpled from the impact and flew to the side. There was a bloody woman lying on the floor. In a cloud of dust in front of the main character stood a black silhouette. Zombies are creatures whose bodies have been corrupted by demonic energy, causing them to lose their senses, strength, and speed and making them weaker than humans. Their weakness is the core of demonic energy. Frowning his brows, Wenyu thought that this was a sign of the beginning of the apocalypse. Smirking, he got into a fighting stance and thought that, fortunately, he had prepared in advance. With his mouth wide open, the zombie jumped into the attack, and the main character thought that otherwise everything would have been much more complicated. He thought that the location of the demonic core was different for each zombie, which could be confusing during the first encounter. Looking at the zombie whose eye had fallen out of its socket, Wenyu thought that he had the knowledge and battle experience of his previous life. Standing in front of the zombie, he thought that if he found the right spot and hit it, he could kill the zombie in the blink of an eye. Having stabbed with a knife, he ended up behind the monster. The system reported that he killed level 0 zombies and received 1 point. Clenching his hand triumphantly into a fist, the protagonist exclaimed that, as in his previous life, he could receive points for killing zombies. The end of the world came, and the whole world collapsed, and money turned into ordinary paper. And with it came a new rule of the strongest and the weakest, as well as a point exchange system based on exchange pillars. Points cannot be exchanged and can only be obtained by killing monsters such as zombies and mutated beasts. When a survivor touches a trading post, they can use their points to exchange them for various items, or gain one of 3 main classes: warrior, archer, or wizard. After changing class, physical strength becomes twice as strong as an ordinary person. If a person can obtain a rare and hard to obtain hidden class, they will gain even more mysterious and powerful abilities. Wenyu went out into the corridor, looking at the zombies in the hallway. He thought that according to the memory of his past life, the nearest exchange post was at the entrance to the community. And in his past life, like most people, he stayed at home and missed out on the opportunity to earn points in the early stages. The zombies turned in his direction, and the main character thought that he would quickly gain 10 points and go to the exchange post to change his class to a level 1 warrior. He looked around. Wenyu, standing in a corridor full of zombies, said that there are a lot of zombies here. The zombies opened their mouths in fury, jumping into the attack. The main character thought that he had to face them head on. Cut off the head of one zombie, he received 1 point. The zombie put his hand on his shoulder. Wenyu turned around and the zombie who was once a man opened his mouth. He elbowed the zombie hard, piercing its chest, and received 1 point. The bone in his elbow broke. After cursing, he said that his physical strength was too low and he needed to change classes as soon as possible to improve his physical strength. He quickly looked back. A crowd of zombies was rapidly approaching him, one of which jumped to attack. The main character took a fighting stance. He grabbed the handle of his knife tightly. His blade left a blue trail behind it, and he made quick strikes at the zombies around him. He took his knife out of the zombie's head. The zombie fell to the floor and Wenyu was surrounded by fallen zombies. Breathing heavily, he said that he had finally accumulated 10 points. He turned around. Looking into the depths of the dark corridor, the main character said that it was time to go change classes. Something shrouded in dark energy was approaching. Wenyu tensed. From the depths of the dark corridor came something that looked like an animal. The main character began to sweat nervously. The beast's eye flashed with bright light. It was a black dog with very well-developed muscles and bare bones on its back. Wenyu asked if this was not the neighbor's dog, and if it had also mutated. The monster noticed him with its only eye. It let out a menacing roar, opening its mouth studded with sharp teeth wide. Gritting his teeth, the main character thought that he could not fight the mutated beast without changing his class. Starting to run away from the monster, he decided to run away first because he couldn't fight it head-on. Gritting his teeth, Wenyu looked back. The beast opened its mouth wide, from which dark energy emanated. The monster jumped to attack, and the main character jumped to the side. Gritting his teeth, he thought this was bad. The beast grabbed his leg with its teeth. It threw him aside. Wenyu flew through the glass, breaking it with his back. Blood sprayed out and he opened his mouth wide in pain. He fell to the floor. The monster stood opposite him, baring his teeth. The main character, picking up a shard of glass from the floor, thought that it seemed like it had its eyes locked on him. The beast opened its mouth wide, clenching his jaw. Wenyu thought that he was not going to die without a fight. The monster jumped to attack. However, it just landed behind him. The main character turned around in amazement. He wondered what was happening and why it wasn't attacking him. Looking at the monster's face, he wondered if it wasn't trying to attack him, then what was it doing? The monster walked from side to side. Wenyu wondered if it was trying to prevent it from getting closer to the store. He opened his eyes wide. Noticing the portal behind the beast, he exclaimed that this was a treasure land. Treasure land, an extremely rare occurrence in his past life. No one could understand how it appears and disappears, and there is no pattern in the frequency of its appearances. However, one thing is certain, and that is that if someone can enter there, they will be able to obtain treasures much more valuable than what can be obtained from the exchange pillars. The sooner someone gets inside, the more valuable treasures they can get their hands on. The main character thought that this animal probably found this place first, so it does not allow him to get closer and defends this place as if it were his territory. He thought that, unfortunately, only humans could enter the treasure land, and no matter how hard he tried, it was useless. The monster waved its tail. Wenyu thought that it seemed like he had noticed that he was interested in the treasure land. Opening its mouth, the beast jumped into the attack. The main character shouted that he still had nowhere else to run. He swung a shard of glass near the beast's mouth. Sharp teeth were approaching his hand. The monster grabbed his hand with its teeth. Gritting his teeth, Wenyu cursed. He fell to the floor. He then reached out to the knife lying on the floor. He began to frantically slash at the beast with his knife, screaming at it to die. He shouted to the beast to finally die. The monster's eyes flashed blue. The main character opened his eyes wide. The beast tore his arm off and he screamed loudly in pain. Holding his severed hand, he screamed. Staggering, he stepped back. Wenyu, standing opposite the beast, thought that he needed to calm down. Closing one eye, he thought that he could restore the lost body parts by raising his level, and it would not be a big problem. Looking at the portal, he thought that no matter what, if he wanted to survive, he had no choice but to enter the treasure land. The mutated beast jumped into the attack, surrounded by dark energy. Wenyu clenched his teeth and cursed mentally. The beast's attack raised a cloud of dust, but the main character managed to jump forward in time. Stretching his hand towards the portal, he mentally exclaimed joyfully. The beast was rapidly approaching him from behind. It sank its teeth into his leg, and the main character cursed in irritation. He clenched his teeth. Wenyu raised his knife. He shouted, since he liked it so much, he could take it for himself. He tore off his leg, leaving it in the monster's teeth. He jumped into the portal. The animal fell to the ground with its paws up. The main character disappeared into a dark portal. On the other side of the portal was a dark room with a floor that looked like a microcircuit. Wenyu fell out of the portal and fell to the floor. He was silent for a while. Noticing the chest, he asked if he had managed it. The main character grinned tiredly. Looking at the chest, he said that he sacrificed an arm and a leg to get here. Stretching out his hand to it, he said that he hoped that his sacrifice would not be in vain. There was only one item in the chest. It was a dark scroll, glowing with a dull purple light. The scroll flew into the air and Wenyu exclaimed in amazement that it was a hidden class scroll. Smiling widely, he thought it was worth the gamble, and while not all hidden classes are better than regular classes, their base skills are definitely better than regular classes. He touched the scroll with his hand. The main character shielded his hand from the bright light. The bright energy gathered into an oblong shape. The energy then turned into a hand, replacing the one that had been severed. The system congratulated him on his class change, announcing his new class, Soul Master. Looking at his hand, Wenyu thought that he was able to raise his level and heal all his wounds by changing classes, and even gained a skill or inner talent in the process. Looking up ahead, he thought that all the first level skills from the 3 main classes were just F ranks. Looking at the dialogue box, he wondered what skill he would gain as a Soul Master. The dialogue boxes say, player is currently a level 1 Soul Master. Your basic attribute value is 2. You have gained a unique skill. Soul Realm. Non-rank, unique skill, can't be forgotten or exchanged. The main character rubbed his chin thoughtfully. Soul Realm, a place for your soul summons. Each time the Soul Master levels up, a new Soul Realm will be unlocked. Your change of class is a success, and will be automatically awarded with Soul Master's Destined Soul Pet automatically occupying the first Soul Realm. Destined Soul Beezy's current attribute, 2. Skill 1, Soul Attack, S rank. Passive, combat type, magazine. Each time the Soul Master attacks, it will also cause damage to the target's soul. The damage will be determined based on the attribute gap between the opponent and host. If the opponent has an attribute that is 10 times greater than the host, there will be no effect. The beast flew inside the main character's head. Skill 2, Soul Pet's Blessing, non-rank. The Destined Soul Beast confused with the Soul Master, giving its base attributes to the Soul Master, and the Soul Master will be able to gain its Soul Beast skill. At this state, you cannot return your Soul Beast back to the Soul Realm, and those in the Soul Realm can't be summoned. Each Soul Pet that occupies one of the Soul Master's Soul Realm will provide the Soul Master with an additional skill based on its own powers. Frowning, the main character closed his eyes. He activated the battle mode, Soul Beast Fusion. Its attributes were written on the dialogue box. Smiling, he said that it was incredible, and, after fusing with it, his attribute became much better than that of all other classes. He said that with this, he could easily defeat those of the same level as him, and it was the strongest hidden class he had ever seen. Walking on the stone floor with his feet, one of which was bare, Wenyu said that this dog outside was no longer a threat to him. As he approached the portal, he said that he was interested in what heights he could reach in the future. Smiling determinedly, he said that he really couldn't wait. A mutated beast walked around the portal. A hole opened in the portal. The main character came out of the portal and grinned widely. The beast prepared for battle and bared its sharp teeth. Wenyu said that thanks to him he was able to find this treasure trove. He asked how he could thank him. The beast looked back at him and the protagonist said that he would send him to hell the fastest way. The beast, growling loudly, jumped to attack the main character. Wenyu dodged, moving to the side. He kicked the beast in the side. He jumped back and landed on the floor. Opening his eyes in amazement, he exclaimed that it was very strong. The beast turned in his direction, and they stood opposite each other. The main character thought that it seems that the fact that he became twice as strong was not enough. He asked if he couldn't handle it like that. What about his fighting form? Violet energy surrounded him. The beast, uttering a menacing roar, jumped into the attack. Wenyu grinned. Cursing at it, he kicked the beast in the face. He activated his first skill, Soul Strike. The monster opened its mouth wide, shrouded in dark energy. A vortex of purple energy surrounded it. Soon the beast lay on the ground in a pool of its own blood. The main character said that the first skill is already S rank, and this is the power of a Soul Master. The monster growled, continuing to lie on the floor. Wenyu looked at it. He thought that something was wrong here and it didn't look dead. The monster began to struggle to its feet. The dialogue box says, Growth. The monster's fangs became several times longer. Skill Awakening, Life Battle. S rank. Wielder will have a significant decrease in pain perception. As the injury worsens, basic physical fitness will increase exponentially, with no upper limit. Electrical energy surrounded the monster. The protagonist thought that this beast also had an S-rank skill. A level 1 mutated beast and a level 1 soul master stood opposite each other. Wenyu thought that even though they were both first level, he had an S-rank skill without limitations. Jumping back, he said that he could not defeat him and he had to run away. The beast chased him with a roar and the main character began to run away. He ran to the exit of the store. He then grabbed the door with his hands. Ripping the door off its hinges, he threw it on the floor. Wenyu jumped out onto the street. The mutated beast was crushed by the iron door. Its howl was heard from the store, and the main character turned around. Frowning, he said that this beast is very scary, and the more pain it feels, the stronger it becomes, and with such a feature it is almost impossible to defeat it. He asked why then he had not heard about it in his past life. He decided that it didn't matter and he had more important things to do. Wenyu ran down the street, thinking that he remembered that on the third day of the apocalypse, a large portal to the treasure land appeared in Jiangbing Park, and in that portal there was a rare black book skill, F-rank protective jade and many other things. Frowning resolutely, he thought that since he was reborn, he couldn't lose this opportunity, but a treasure land of this size would be very dangerous, so he needed to get some things from the exchange pillar first. Noticing something, he opened his eyes wide. He suddenly stopped running. The main character looked down in amazement. Below there was a huge crowd of walking dead. He thought that it looked like this place was already zombied, and quite quickly. Looking ahead, he thought that it was not surprising that the people from his past life who decided to come out of their homes died. Running forward, he said that if he wanted to get to the exchange post, this was the only way, so he had no choice but to fight his way through. The zombies turned in his direction. Wenyu punched the zombie's body with punches. The zombie, growling, rushed to attack him from behind. An army of zombies surrounded the main character. Wenyu shouted for them to get out of his way, and a strong pulse of energy sent them flying. The main character stood and the air swirled around him. Frowning his brows, he said that no one could stop him in this life. Leaping forward, he shouted that he would kill anyone who tried to stop him. 1 minute later, the floor was littered with motionless bodies. Wenyu stood in front of a dark column. Smiling, he said that he had finally reached the exchange post. He touched the pillar with his palm. The dialogue boxes say, "Welcome, you can now use the exchange system. Please select the items you would like to exchange for." The main character pressed a button in the dialogue box. Items appeared on the display, and he said that there were the same things as before, and he thought that there would be a larger assortment since the apocalypse had just begun. He pressed keys on a holographic keyboard. Wenyu said that he got a little hurt when he fought that crowd of zombies, so first he needs to take some recovery potions. He started at the enter button on the keyboard. Many dialogue boxes with various potions appeared in front of him. The main character said that more items are now displayed. Looking at their prices, he thought that they were all very expensive. After spending 100 points, he said that now he could only afford a beginner's restoration potion. After emptying the potion, he said that it should be drunk. Green energy enveloped him, and he said that the effect of it was very fast. The system reported that his body had recovered 100%. Raising his finger, he decided to see what he could buy with the remaining points. The system reported that he had acquired a ranked non-attribute crystal. The dialogue boxes say, a ranked non-attribute crystal can be used to enhance a body with a level 1 profession. During the enhancement process, the skills that appear will differ depending on the proportion of the crystal used. If you use a non-attribute crystal to enhance your body, your skills will turn into trash. The main character broke the crystal by squeezing it with his hand. Closing his eyes, he thought that since he had a hidden profession, Soul Master, even if he could no longer use crystals to gain any skills, it no longer mattered to him. Clenching his hands into fists, he said that he felt like his body had become stronger by 0.5%, and now he needed to equip himself with a good weapon. Then his characteristics would become even higher than before. A few hours later, Wenyu, upon entering the store, said that he did not have enough points to buy anything else. Looking at the tool table, he said that in 2 days, a huge portal to the treasure land would appear in Jiangbing Park, and he should prepare well for it. Grabbing an axe and a chainsaw, he thought that he should take whatever he could use given his current level. And Soul Master is a strong profession, but not in close combat, and it has less skills than normal professions. The main character frowned and thought that if he entered into hand-to-hand combat without summoning a spirit pet, he would most likely be a disaster, so he needed to find a weapon with which he could defend himself. As he walked down the street, he thought that in the future, when his vitality improved, he would also need to strengthen his body, so his chances of survival would be much greater. He heard someone calling for help. He looked towards the building from which the screams were heard. Dark silhouettes were visible in the dark corridor. A man and a girl stood opposite the zombies running towards them. The man asked where so many zombies came from, since they couldn't break through them. The girl asked what they should do now, and whether they would really die here. The man turned around and told her that they would not give up, and he would go forward and cover her, and she would follow him. He picked up the steel pipe from the floor and May told him not to do it because he would die. Standing opposite the zombies, the man said that if they continue to stand like this, none of them will survive. Closing his eyes, he jumped into the attack, swinging the steel pipe. The zombie hit him, throwing him aside. The man hit the wall hard. He fell to the floor. May desperately shouted no. Crouching down next to him, she asked how he was. The man shouted to her about the danger from behind. An axe flashed and blood sprayed. May and the man looked in amazement. The main character told May that turning your back on zombies is very risky. Looking at him, they exclaimed that he killed the zombies with one blow. Wenyu ran forward with a smile, armed with an axe. Blue energy sparkled in the corridor and he cut the zombies with an axe. Exclaiming that he was very strong, they asked who he was. The main character turned around and asked what they were waiting for. He told them to follow him. The man thanked him for saving them. Wenyu smiled widely. The man told May to walk next to him. They walked on the floor covered in pools of blood. The man and May opened their eyes in amazement. The main character cut off a zombie's head with a chainsaw. He then sawed another zombie in half. He jumped into the crowd of zombies. Turning to the man and woman, he said that it would be safe outside for a while, so they could take their time. The man thanked him for saving him. Wenyu waved his chainsaw and told them not to thank him and just be more careful in the future. The man asked where he was going. The main character said that he was going to look for good equipment and weapons so as not to be helpless in front of a pack of zombies. They told him that she knows a place where there are a lot of weapons. Wenyu turned around and asked where. They replied, at the police station on Manhwa Street. She said that at the moment the entire police station is surrounded by zombies, and they themselves just escaped from there. The main character, thanking them, said that he would go and have a look. He immediately disappeared. The man asked in amazement if he would really go there. May said he looks pretty strong and she thinks he can handle it. Wenyu ran along the highway. Frowning, he thought that the police station they were talking about must be nearby. He suddenly stopped, eyes wide. An explosion occurred, throwing several bodies aside. The rats' eyes glowed red. Huge rats were devouring people, and the main character thought what was happening here. Peering around the corner, he wondered why there were so many mutated beasts there. Frowning his brows, he thought that something must have happened in the station itself. Climbing onto the pillar, Wenyu thought that now he was not able to break through them inside, so he would first climb up and see what was happening. He jumped from the pillar onto the roof of the building. Turning his head, he opened his mouth in amazement. The zombie stood opposite the mutated rat. Among the abandoned cars, an army of zombies fought with an army of rats. The main character thought maybe there were still people left at the police station, and this attracted so many zombies. Smiling, he thought that now the zombies were fighting with the mutant rats for territory, which meant that not all of their attention was directed to the police station. Wenyu jumped down from the roof. The zombies stretched their arms through the steel bars. Someone told Officer Wang that zombies were breaking in. A little girl was lying on the ground in front of him. The policeman asked what they should do, because there were more and more of them. He said that if they stayed here, they would surely all die. The policewoman fired a pistol. Officer Wang told everyone to listen because he had made a decision. They turned around. Gritting his teeth, he said that he would avenge his daughter. The police asked him to come to his senses, because they would not be able to cope with mutant rats. The policewoman added that there were still many zombies outside. Wang told them not to worry because he would avenge his daughter himself and no one should go with him. The steel gate that kept the zombies out broke. The policemen's mouths dropped open. Wang took aim with his pistol, gritting his teeth. Someone exclaimed that they could not escape. Someone else asked what they should do now since he didn't want to die. In front of him was a huge crowd of zombies. Wang wondered why his hand was not obeying him. The zombie jumped at him, mouth wide open. Wang saw the axe thrown. He asked what was going on. Another policeman, pointing to the side, said that it looked like there was someone there. The main character fought with zombies on the road. The system reported many times that he killed a level 1 zombie and received 1 point. His face was covered in blood and he smiled widely. He exclaimed that he had already earned 1,000 points and this was a great place. Wang asked if he was human. The guy asked how he got through so many zombies. The police girl said he didn't just pass, He fought his way through. Waving her hand, she told them to stop just standing there and watching, because they had to run away quickly before more zombies came. The main character approached Officer Wang. Wang said with a smile that his name was Wang Dahai, and he was really amazed by his skills. When Yu asked why he didn't run away, Wang said that he wanted to ask him for a favor. Turning around, he looked at the body of the little girl. He approached her, sitting down next to her on the floor. He said that his daughter was killed by a mutant rat, so he hopes that it will help him avenge her. The main character said that there are only 2 of them, and they will not be able to defeat so many mutant rats. Wang said that he knows about it, but he has a way. He said that at first there were only mutant rats in the police department, but no zombies. He said that he deliberately lured them all here, and his plan was for them to start a fight among themselves. Frowning, Wang said that in the end, not only did the mutant rats not die, but they became much stronger, and he fell into despair. But his appearance brought him a new idea. Looking at him, he said that he had a powerful explosive, and when he detonated it, he would be able to kill most of the mutant rats. He said that he would lure all the rats to himself with this, then detonate the bomb and die with them, and he would just need to kill those who survived. Wenyu exclaimed that he was crazy. A crescent moon shone in the sky above the blackened city. Mutant rats roamed the bloody roads. Wang asked if he agreed with his plan. He said that he would detonate the bomb as quickly as possible, and if he did not see the explosion, then he should not think about it and just leave. The main character asked why he wanted to detonate the charge. Wang said because the one who killed his daughter is the leader of the rats. He said that all those rats outside are just his subordinates. The mutant rat raised its muzzle. Wang asked the main character to clear the way for him. He ran towards the crowd of rats with explosives in his hands. The rat attacked him with its mouth wide open. Wenyu jumped forward and cut off the rat's head. Frowning, he told him to keep running because he would deal with them. Wang thanked him. The main character, having landed, answered, "No problem." Looking at him, he thought that he was willing to sacrifice his life to avenge his daughter, and although he was crazy, he was worthy of respect. Wang ran inside the building. He fell to the floor, gritting his teeth. He said that he finally got inside and this time he will definitely kill him. Rising to his feet, he began to walk deeper into the building. In front of him was a giant rat king, a rank 2 mutant. Wang turned pale. He remembered a conversation with his daughter. She asked when his work ended. Wang told her to wait for him because they would be returning home soon. He asked her to play at the police station for now. Agreeing, his daughter said that she loved him. Wang, calling her Yaoyao, said that he loved her too. Yaoyao said she was scared. She asked why these people were knocking on the door. The monster grabbed her in its mouth, and she, stretching her hand forward, said that she was scared. Wang, holding out his hand, shouted no. The main character stood on the roof of the building. Noticing that there was still no explosion, he wondered if he had failed. The rats started running towards the building, and the squeaking was too loud. A powerful explosion occurred in the building. Wenyu, shielding himself from the shock wave with his hand, thought that he had done it after all. Gritting his teeth, he thought it was his turn. He jumped to the ground. The main character thought that it was a very powerful explosion, and almost all the zombies and rats died, and they even dropped several attribute crystals. Holding up the purple crystal, he said that it was a level 1 beast attribute. Holding another crystal in his palm, he exclaimed that this was the dual attribute of the fire beast. He broke the crystals with his hand, and the energy from them rushed into him. His pet absorbed the energy. Wenyu thanked Wang for allowing him to take such a chance and said that he would never forget his kindness. He looked into the darkness. As he ran there, he thought that someone else was moving there and he needed to go and check. His pet disappeared into his body. The main character stood in front of burning ruins. The head of a huge rat appeared from under the stone rubble. Wenyu opened his eyes in amazement. The Rat King stood in front of him. Wang emerged from the rubble. He asked him to kill this creature. The main character asked in amazement how he survived. Wang said that most of the explosion was blocked by mutant rats, which is why he survived. He asked him to kill this creature because it was it that killed his daughter. Smirking, Wenyu told him not to worry, because this rat was seriously injured. The Rat King opened his mouth wide. A strong blow threw the main character to the side, raising a cloud of dust. The dialogue box says, "First skill, Soul Strike." Wenyu's eyes glowed blue, and he said that the rat would not have much time left. He shot a white laser from his eyes. The Rat King lay smoking on the ground. Approaching him, the main character took an axe. He raised his axe up. The Rat King's eyes glowed red. The system notified the main character that he had killed a level 2 mutant rat and earned 153 points. Wenyu stood in front of the Rat King's corpse. Wang rose to his feet. Looking at the severed head of the monster, he told his daughter that this monster was now dead. The main character looked at him and smiled. Falling to his knees, Wang said that he didn't even know how to thank him. Wenyu told him with a smile that it was not worth thanking. He threw him 3 crystals. Wang caught the crystals. The main character told him that he deserved them, and he took half for himself, so they are even. He said that since he survived, these crystals could be useful to him. Wang looked at him in amazement. When leaving, Vanyu told him to be more careful in the future. Wang asked where he was going. Turning around, the main character said that he was going to Zhongbing Park. The amusement park was on fire and full of zombies. An army of zombies was walking through the park. Columns of smoke rose into the sky. The main character looked at the dialogue box with his characteristics. He said that his level was at the peak of level 1, and he had scored more than 1,000 points, and with his current characteristics, he should not have any problems and could easily enter the treasure land. Wenyu, looking down, said that if he remembered correctly, in his past life, a portal to the treasure land opened in the middle of the night. Hearing a roar, he turned around. A huge monster, like a lion, roared menacingly. The main character thought it was a mutant lion. Zombies with eyes glowing red approached the monster. Leo opened his eyes wide. It shot a huge stream of flame from its mouth. Wenyu, gritting his teeth, asked if they were mocking him and what he was doing here. He said that in a past life, when this lion appeared, he destroyed almost the entire city. The mutant lion continued to shoot a stream of flames while standing on the ruins. The guy stretched his hand forward and called for help. The main character said that it destroyed everyone, both zombies and hunters, and destroyed the city. The monster jumped forward, looking after him. Wenyu said that even level 3-5 beasts were no match for him, but in his past life, he had not heard of him appearing here. He asked if it was possible that no one had survived that time and that was why there had been no news about him. The mutant lion opened its mouth, lined with sharp teeth. Red flames surrounded him. Exhaling, the main character said that it almost noticed him, and if he wants to survive in this world, he needs to become much stronger. Jumping over the fence, he said, before this lion finds him, he needs to kill as many zombies as possible and earn points. Several people walked among the ruins. The guy in the green jacket hurried the others and said that most of the zombies were killed by this lion, so they need to hurry up and find the treasure. The guy with the bangs over his left eye asked if he was sure it was safe and what if that lion spotted them. The guy with the bangs over his right eye agreed and said it was very dangerous. The guy in the green jacket asked if they had forgotten that the greater the risk, the greater the reward. Turning around, he asked if he hadn't told them that there was a treasure hidden in this place, and they couldn't let anyone find it. The guy with bangs asked where such confidence came from. The guy in the green jacket showed them a crescent-shaped necklace and said that before he met them, he was caught in a silver vortex. He said that there was a chest inside it, and when he opened it, he got a map and this pendant, so he knows for sure that there is treasure here. The guys exclaimed in amazement that it flies. One of them asked what was happening and why this pendant flew up. A portal opened in front of them. The guy with the green jacket, laughing, said that they had found a treasure. The main character stood among the dead zombies. Frowning, he opened his eyes wide and turned around. Seeing a portal above the buildings, he asked if it was a portal to the land of treasures. He said that his efforts had finally paid off and the portal had appeared. Moving in big leaps, Wenyu said that if you don't catch the lion's eye and slip unnoticed into the portal, then everything will be fine. After 10 minutes, the main character jumped on the roofs of buildings. He saw a dark portal. Wenyu exclaimed that he had time. Standing in front of the portal, he said that it looked like a large-scale rank 1 treasure land. He thought that he was interested in what was inside and should go take a look. Pushing off from the ground, he jumped up. He jumped into the portal. The portal in the sky flashed with a bright flash. The monster's eye flashed with bright light. Shrouded in energy, he roared loudly. Wenyu jumped out of the portal. He landed. He then straightened up and the system welcomed him to the large-scale rank 1 treasure land. Smirking, the protagonist said that this is indeed a large-scale rank 1 treasure land, and this time he will be able to get something really good. He looked away. He saw people among the stone statues. He opened his mouth and someone asked in amazement who it was. The guy asked his boss how someone else could get here, and weren't they the ones who opened the portal here? The guy in the green jacket said he didn't know. A guy with blonde hair held up 2 pistols and asked if he should go and kill him. The guy with green hair told him not to act rashly, because first you need to find out his capabilities, and if he is weak, you can kill him after they take everything from here. Smiling, he told the main character not to be nervous, because they themselves had just gotten here. He said that this place has its own rules, and they can't kill each other here, so he doesn't have to worry about his safety. Wenyu forcefully placed his foot on the floor. Smirking, he wondered if he was laughing at him, worried for his safety. Smiling widely, he thought that if there were no rules here, he would have killed them all long ago, but there is no need to worry about them. Even if they find something valuable here, he still will not allow them to take it out of here. A dialogue box appeared from the mouth of the stone statue. The dialogue box says, "You are not allowed to attack each other. If you break this rule, you will be automatically teleported out of the treasure land. Survivors can enter the test arena through a stone pillar, and the difficulty of the tests will increase gradually. Please note, once you start a challenge, you will only be able to leave at the end of each stage. So do everything according to your capabilities. The one who passes the test of the highest difficulty will be able to take the main treasure for himself, after which the portal to the land of treasures will close." The main character said with a smile that this was very interesting. The guy hit the statue with his hand. He said they got here first, so he'll start. The light enveloped him and he was teleported away. The system announced that the test had begun. A zombie appeared in the arena opposite him. The dialogue box says, "Stage 1, Regular Zombie." When you thought that based on the information from his past life, each treasure land has its own kind. He thought that the peaceful type is the easiest with the most common rewards, the safest. The hellish is the average level, with a small chance of dying. And the devilish is the hardest and most dangerous. The guy jumped on the zombie to attack, shouting at him to die. He hit it and his hands were shrouded in energy. Standing over the disappearing corpse of the zombie, he said that it seemed to be a peaceful type, and the hardest part would come at the very end of the test. He said that he was very lucky to have ended up in the peaceful type of treasure land. The energy was collected into form. The dialogue box says, "You have successfully completed the first stage. Your reward is an F-grade steel sword. Would you like to continue?" Grabbing the sword, the guy said yes. 3 zombies appeared around him. They rushed to attack him. Swinging his sword, he killed the zombies around him. The system reported that he had passed the second stage. Grinning, the guy said that it turns out that it is very easy to receive awards. The dialogue box says, "Your reward is F-grade cloth armor. Would you like to continue?" The guy said yes. The guy in the green jacket said that they didn't come here in vain. The guy with the bangs told him to keep it up. The main character, looking at him, asked what he decided to continue. He asked if he knew that the further it went, the more difficult it would be. A huge monster appeared behind the guy. The guy squatted down. 2 knives were stuck into the ground in front of him. Looking at the monster, he exclaimed that it was a level 4 zombie. There was an explosion in the arena. The zombie rushed to attack him, and the guy exclaimed that he was several times stronger than him. Grabbing the guy by the neck, the zombie slammed him to the ground. The floor beneath them was covered in cracks. Gritting his teeth, the guy thought that he couldn't handle him, and all he could do was give up now. He said he was giving up. The monster crumbled into pixels. He disappeared and the system reported that the test had failed. The guy said it was easy. The main character, closing his eyes, said that he was in shock. The guy in the green jacket told him he was next. He asked if he didn't mind if they watched from the sidelines and laughed. Wenyu, dissolving into pixels, said that they can do what they want and he doesn't care. The guy said that this guy really likes to pretend to be all-powerful. The other guy agreed with him and said that as soon as they get out of here, he'll show him who's boss. The guy in the green jacket told them not to say anything stupid and he thinks he's pretty strong. He suggested that they first see what he could do, and if he turned out to be a weakling, they would kill him at the exit from the portal. The main character hit with an axe. The dialogue box says, "You have successfully completed the first stage. Your reward is an F-grade steel sword. Would you like to continue?" Grabbing the sword, Wenyu said with a smile as he continued. Shrouded in energy, he killed 3 zombies. The dialogue box says, "You have successfully completed the second stage. Your reward is F-grade fabric armor. Would you like to continue?" The main character said yes with a wide smile. A huge zombie appeared behind him. He immediately jumped on him to attack. Wenyu dodged, moving to the side. The guy with the bangs thought this was where he lost. Wenyu raised his sword, shrouded in blue energy, and thought about level 4 zombies. He hit the monster with a flash of blue energy. He said with a grin that this was nothing more than a warm-up. The dialogue box says, "You have successfully completed the third stage. Your reward is 1 novice rank restoration potion." The guy in the green jacket asked in amazement that he killed him so easily. The guy with the bangs said that he is much faster than Tao and he has never met such a unique person. Another guy with bangs asked what was going on. The guy with blonde hair smiled awkwardly and asked if they really needed to kill. The main character with an ominous smile, shrouded in blue energy, told the system to begin the next stage. Several zombies were quickly approaching him from different directions. Wenyu frowned and looked to the side. Zombie punched. The main character jumped into the air. He thought with a smile that he now had 20 characteristics, and a level 4 zombie was now nothing to him. The dialog box says, "You have successfully completed the 4th stage. Your reward is 2 crystals of the 1st rank. Would you like to continue?" He went through 3 more stages and received a mid-rank restoration potion, a piece of F-rank protective jade, and a spatial teleportation scroll. The main character was holding a sword shrouded in blue energy. The dialog box says, "You have successfully completed the 8th stage. Your reward is an F-rank space ring. Would you like to continue?" There were several items in front of Wenyu. F-grade protective jade piece, consumable, can block 100 attacks from level 1 creatures, 10 attacks from level 2 creatures, 1 attack from level 3 creatures. Scroll of spatial teleportation, consumable, can teleport you to any point within a limited distance. F-rank space ring, can store things in it. Grinning, the main character said that the rewards for these last few stages are quite good. The guy in the green jacket thought it was incredible. He wondered who he was, a Superman or a god. Wenyu extended his hand to the items. He said with a smile that for a first-level professional, these artifacts are very useful, and this is a wonderful reward. The system announced the start of the 9th test. The main character said in amazement that the system did not ask if he wanted to continue. A huge gate appeared in front of him, covered with purple writing. Wenyu wondered why it looked like a gateway to the demonic world. He thought that this was definitely a gateway to the demonic world, but compared to the experience from his past life, this one was much smaller. He wondered why it appeared here at this particular time. Someone telepathically asked him what he knew about the gate to the demonic world. He asked where he could see them. The main character turned around and asked who was talking to him. The voice told him not to look for it, and he is the keeper of this treasure land, so he cannot see it. Frowning, Wenyu said that he had never heard of such a thing in his previous life. He said that this place was strange, and probably no one present could hear this voice except him. The voice said that he was quite an interesting person, and since he knew that this was the gate to the demonic world, he probably already understood what the last stage meant. He asked to be allowed to say that there was a big guy sealed behind the door. Nervous sweat ran down the protagonist's face. A roar was heard and a paw appeared from the gate. The voice said that given his current performance, he had a 10% chance of passing the final stage. Wenyu asked if he was kidding him since it was only 10%. The voice asked if he couldn't defeat this big guy, how was he going to get the treasure? He wished him luck and told him to kill him or be killed. The main character opened his eyes in fear. In front of him was a giant monster with large horns on his head. Looking at the monster's face, Wenyu asked what it was. The monster had 2 pairs of arms, and the voice said that it was an ancient demon, the leader among monsters and the ruler of the demon world. He said that he would give him a hint. Although it is a rank 1 ancient demon, its stats are not higher than 20 points. And it also has an SS rank skill. Destroy when it uses it. Within 10 seconds, that's it. Whatever he touches is destroyed, ignoring all existing artifacts and protection. The monster raised his fists, and the voice said that he had already told him too much. The main character frowned and a voice told him to get ready because he was attacking. The monster jumped high in the air, enveloped in red energy. When he looked up, eyes wide, the monster hit the ground with force. The main character dodged. He exclaimed in amazement about a skill that ignores defense and all existing artifacts. The system reported the activation of the SS rank skill, Destruction. Sweating nervously, Wenyu said that if he touched him, he would die. He said that he couldn't fight him now and he had to avoid him for 10 seconds and then counterattack. The monster growled loudly, raising its head upward. He waved his hand, and the main character, gritting his teeth, jumped back. He thought that given his combat experience from his previous life, he had a great chance of dodging all of his attacks. The monster waved his hand again, and Wenyu dodged again. Having landed, he opened his eyes in amazement. Turning around, he clenched his teeth. The monster ran towards him, its mouth wide open. The main character thought that the battle area was very small and he could not move freely. He glared at his opponent. He activated the Soul Realm skill and thought that he needed to hold on for another 6 seconds. The monster hit the ground again, and Wenyu thought in surprise that his skill did not cause any damage to it. He swung his sword. Frowning his brows, he wondered if there really was no soul in his body. The voice chuckled and said that he forgot to tell him that the consciousness of the ancient demon was deliberately turned off. He said that there are 3 seconds left before the skill stops working, and then there will be 30 seconds of cooldown. He wished him luck and said he had big bets on him. The main character, frowning tensely, counted from 3 to 0. The monster was rapidly approaching him. He punched him in the stomach with a fist shrouded in red energy. Wenyu was thrown aside. The object in his pocket glowed green. His back hit the blue barrier. After staggering, he regained his balance and thought that, fortunately, He had survived the most dangerous time, but this demon's attacks were still quite strong. Gritting his teeth, he thought that even though a piece of F-ranked defensive jade blocked this blow, it still hurt. Looking at the green stone, the protagonist thought that a piece of F-ranked defensive jade could block 10 strikes, and he still had 9 left. Frowning, he put the item back into his pocket. The axe flashed in his hand, and he thought that this demon could not use his special skill in a short time. He crouched down and his eye flashed with blue energy. The monster opened its mouth wide, enveloped in red energy. Wenyu, having hit him with an axe, he thought that he could fight him. The monster punched him in the face at the same moment. The protective jade in his pocket sparkled again. The axe left a scratch on the monster's body, and the main character thought that the ancient demon's defense was very strong. But if he hit one place, he would be able to break through his defense. The monster hit him in the face again. The protective jade flashed in his pocket again. The main character stood in front of him with a blade in his hand. He looked forward with his reddened eyes. Looking at the crack on the monster's neck, Wenyu thought that this was his chance. Swinging his blade, he shouted at him to die. The monster opened its mouth, lined with sharp teeth. Blood gushed from the main character's mouth. Grabbing the monster's arm, he swung his blade. The monster fell to the floor, bleeding. Wenyu, covering the wound with his hand, exclaimed that he had done it. A blue light enveloped him and a voice told him to consider this healing an additional reward. Looking at his palm, the main character said that his wounds were completely disappearing. The voice said that he didn't expect that he would be so strong that he could defeat the ancient demon. Wenyu turned around. A small man, like a baby, appeared in front of him. The main character asked if he was the one who had been talking to him all this time. The guardian asked if he was shocked. He said that this was his territory and he could talk to whomever he wanted. He told him not to worry because he really liked him. Wenyu asked who he was. Closing his eyes, the guardian said that his name is Alcada and he is the guardian of this treasure land number 195. But considering their human customs, he can call him Big Brother. The main character asked if this means that each treasure land has its own guardian. A book appeared in Alcada's hand and he said that he asked the right question. But no, only large or super large treasure lands have their own guardians. Flipping through the pages of the book, he said that according to the guardian's rules, they were not allowed to start a conversation with the participants during the tests. So if he were not very curious, he would not even know about the existence of the guardians. Wenyu asked who wrote the guardian rules. Alcada said that it was obviously their all-powerful master. He told him to move on to another topic, because his authority was not yet high enough for such information. The main character asked what happened to this world, and where the treasure lands and all these monsters came from. Alcada asked that this was clearly more than one question. Wenyu said he needed one answer. Alcada, closing the book, said that it was too early for him to know about this, and the time would come. The main character remained silent awkwardly. Calling him a child, Alcada told him to squat down. Wenyu thought that he would do nothing and just obey him to get his reward. He asked if he could give him a reward for the last test. Alcada raised an eyebrow and asked about him being impatient. He said that he would give him the award right away. The object appeared in his hand. He handed him a piece of paper. The main character asked about a piece of paper. Alcada, holding up his finger, said that this is not just a piece of paper, it is a rare treasure. Wenyu looked at the piece of paper. The dialogue box says, "Unidentified object received, analysis in progress." The main character opened his eyes in amazement. The system reported that the analysis was completed. The piece of paper reads, "Act of darkness, consumes souls and explodes with the power of darkness." This is the first page of the Book of Darkness, so its power is greatly weakened. Current ability, when enough souls are absorbed, spells written in the Book of Darkness become effective. Current effects, suppression, reduces the speed of all surrounding creatures by 10%. Weaken, reduces the strength of all surrounding creatures by 10%. Deepening, reduces the defense of all surrounding creatures by 10%. Spell, duration 10 minutes, range of 100 meters around the user. Ignores enemy level and can be used at any time. The main character read the contents of the sheet of paper in amazement. He said that it was indeed a wonderful treasure, but he was sorry that there was only one page and was wondering where to find the rest. Alcada smirked and said since he killed the ancient demon and proved his strength, he decided to bring him into the human sequence and his number is 2. Wenyu asked if that means there is someone else. Alcada said yes. The chief, sitting on one knee, asked what human consistency is and what it gives. Alcada said that it is very simple, and the human sequence is a list of people with the greatest potential. And regarding privileges, those on the list receive the help and support of the guardians. The main character rose to his feet. A sheet of paper turned into golden energy. Golden energy swirled around his hand. The energy turned into a ring on his finger, and Wenyu said with a smile that he liked it. Okada said that in the future, every time he enters the land of treasures, there will be a small bonus. A blue circle appeared under the protagonist's feet. The dialogue box says, "You have successfully completed the last stage. Teleportation has started." The main character dissolved into pixels. The system reported successful teleportation, and he appeared in front of the guys, smiling. Wenyu thought that the rewards he received were really useful, and even though he had already used a piece of F-rank protective jade, he still had the spatial teleportation scroll and the space ring. Someone called out to him and he turned around. The guys looked at him with an awkward smile. The main character asked what happened. The guy in the green jacket said that he was just very strong, and he didn't expect that he would be able to complete all the stages. He asked if he wanted to have accomplices. Wenyu thought that they were initially very aggressive towards him, but now they are acting friendly. He wondered if they really thought he was so blind that he wouldn't understand what they wanted. The guy said that they could be his servants and they would do whatever he said. The main character, without looking in his direction, said that there was no need for this because they were too weak and would only interfere with him. Turning around, he thought that they were definitely not a threat, but he would deal with them later. The guy with the bangs asked if he looked down on them and if he really thought he was that cool. He said he was just lucky this time. Another guy with bangs covered his mouth with his hand and, laughing awkwardly, told him not to listen to him because he was just saying something stupid. The guy in the green jacket said that since he didn't need them, they would go first. The main character agreed. The portal towered over the buildings. The muzzle of a mutated dog appeared from under a bush. 4 people jumped out of the portal. They fell face down on the asphalt. The guy with the bangs, getting up, told the boss that it was a big loss for them because he took all the awards for himself. He asked why don't they deal with him, since they could kill him when he comes out of the portal. The others looked in his direction in amazement. They shouted at him to run away because there was something behind him. The beast opened its mouth behind him. The guy turned around sharply. The beast jumped on him and hit him on the ground. The guy with the bangs shouted loudly. Another silhouette jumped out of the portal. He landed on the asphalt. The main character stood behind everyone else. The beast threw the guy aside, and the other guy shouted at him to let his brother go. The monster, surrounded by dark energy, opened its mouth. Wenyu, frowning, thought what was happening and what was this dog doing here. The mutated beast rushed to attack. The guy with the bangs, gritting his teeth, took out his sword and, cursing, said that he would kill it. Saliva dripped from the monster's mouth. Dark energy surrounded him, scattering the guys in different directions. The main character said that this dog is too persistent and he can't believe that he followed him all the way here. He said that then they would fight until one of them died. The beast jumped to attack him. Wenyu gritted his teeth. Blood sprayed. The main character swung his blade, shrouded in blue energy. Red energy surrounded the beast and it activated Berserker Rage. Gritting his teeth, Wenyu thought that this dog was too aggressive, and it seemed that the more damage he dealt, the stronger it became, and its skill should have an enhancement effect. Enveloped in purple energy, he thought they would see who could last the longest. He plunged the blade into the monster's body. The beast pushed him back. The main character hit his back with force against a pole. The mutant beast fell to the ground with a crash. Wenyu thought that this beast could still attack after being damaged by the soul strike, and it was really strong. The monster rose to its feet and looked at him. Suddenly the beast turned around and began to walk away. The main character asked in amazement what was happening, and was he really just running away? He asked if this is how it should be. Looking after him, he asked if perhaps his soul blow had left its mark on him after all. Straightening up, Wenyu decided to forget about it for today. Turning around, he said that if it tried to kill him in the future, he would end it first. As he started to run, he thought that his main task now was to become stronger and reach the exchange pillar in order to move to another level. Hearing the stomping, he opened his eyes wide. Stopping, the main character asked what that sound was. He quickly turned around. The mutated dog ran towards him, sticking out his tongue. Wenyu thought something was wrong here. The monster looked a little scared as it ran away. The main character clenched his teeth and bulged his eyes. A mutant lion, enveloped in flames, was chasing the dog. It shot a stream of flames from its eyes. Streams of flame hit the ground with force, throwing the dog into the air. Then streams of flame were thrown towards the main character. Wiping his face, Wenyu thought that this dog had led the lion straight to him. Sweating nervously, he wondered what he should do now. Looking at the glowing blue pillar, he thought about his only hope now. The mutant lion looked at the running dog and Wenyu. The main character, stretching his hand forward, thought that he needed to run to the exchange pillar and move to the next level as soon as possible in order to survive here. He thought that he must not hesitate for a second. The lion, its mouth wide open, was rapidly approaching him. It waved its fiery paw, but the main character immediately disappeared. The pillar was surrounded by blue particles. The lion roared loudly and was surrounded by a pulse of red energy. It quickly turned around. In front of it was a frightened mutant dog. The main character, breathing heavily, exclaimed that he had time. He said that if he had stayed even a little longer, he would have already become food for the animals. Frowning, he said that he was moving forward successfully thanks to the experience from his past life. Pumping his fist in the air, Wenyu said that he could safely remain in the exchange pillar until the threat receded. He asked what he should do next, because if he went out, then this lion would probably be waiting for him at the exit of the pillar and immediately devour him. Noticing something, he turned around. In front of him stood a huge monster, shrouded in red energy. The system announced the start of a test to raise the level. The main character opened his mouth and opened his eyes wide. Taking a fighting stance, he took 2 blades in his hand. Looking at the monster with long fangs, he said that it was a toothy rabbit. The dialogue box says, since the challenger is human, the time limit for the challenge is 5 minutes. If you fail to complete the test within this time range, you will not be able to level up for 10 days and will also lose your current status. The main character, gritting his teeth, thought displeasantly about the time limit. The monster jumped high into the air. The system reported that there were 5 minutes left. The monster swung its huge paw. Wenyu thought that he should have guessed that the boss fight would be difficult. Swinging his blade, he thought that, in any case, he needed to finish this as soon as possible, and he could not lose. He and the monster exchanged blows, and he thought that this rabbit looked like an ordinary monster, but he had 2 skills, so he had to be careful. The monster quickly ran past him, leaving a red trail in the air. The main character turned his head in shock. The monster jumped onto the wall and used a D-rank skill, Ice Arrow. Wenyu, having broken the projectile clicked, asked that he was already using his skill. He said that it seemed like he also wanted to get it over with as soon as possible. Jumping back, he thought that this was not the first time he had been tested to level up. The monster jumped, pushing off from the ground. Hitting with red energy, it used the D-rank skill Jump Kick. The main character, having dodged his attack, thought that as long as he could predict his movements, it would be easy for him to fight with him. He hit the monster with a blade and an axe shrouded in blue energy. The monster, exhausted, fell to his knees. The system reported that Wenyu successfully passed the test to raise the level. The main character stood on the ground. He grinned. The system reported the start of the level raising process. A blue light enveloped the protagonist, and blue energy swirled around him. His pet flew out and Wenyu exclaimed that he had succeeded. The pet exclaimed joyfully in response. The system reported that he had become a level 2 Master of Souls. The body of a second-level professional can only be strengthened by second-level magic crystals. The maximum is 50 points, while the first and second-level magic crystals are available for exchange. The ratio is 10:1. The system congratulated the main character for the fact that the spirit pet was promoted to the 2nd level, and its body limit was increased to 50. His pet received a second skill, Dexterity, C rank, passive. Increases overall speed by 10%, including movement speed, attack speed, and reflex speed. The dialogue box says, the second Soul Realm slot has been created. You can sign a contract to summon a second spirit pet. If the pet agrees to sign a contract with you, you will receive 100%, but it should not exceed your current level. Wenyu exclaimed happily that this was a wonderful feeling and he had finally raised his level and become stronger. Looking at his pet, he said that although the physical quality had increased by only 0.5, he had opened the second cell of the Kingdom of Souls and would be able to sign a contract with a new spirit pet. The system reported that he would be teleported back within 30 seconds. The main character opened his mouth in amazement. A blue light surrounded him and he wondered if that lion was still there. He hoped he wouldn't run into him when he left here. Dissolving into pixels, he said that he needed to figure out a way to escape. He guessed that Dog was there too, and his skill was amazing. The more he fought, the stronger he became. He said that he would like to have this skill too. A huge purple portal swirled in the sky above the buildings. The main character flew out of the portal. As he landed on the asphalt, he said he hoped luck was on his side this time. Hearing the hands, he looked in the direction of the sound. A mutant lion fought with a mutated dog. The lion's blow threw the dog aside. Frowning, Wenyu gritted his teeth. The mutant lion roared as red energy surrounded its mouth. The main character thought that he knew that he would meet it. Looking at the dragon's fiery paws, he thought that it was too close and he would not have time to escape. The mutant lion stood over the mutated dog. Bright fiery energy began to gather in its mouth. It shot a strong stream of flame from its mouth. Having stopped, he found himself surrounded by stone debris and smoke. The mutant lion noticed that the dog was not in front of him. It turned its head sharply. The main character ran, holding the mutated dog in his hands, and asking him not to die. The mutant lion chased after him. When you asked the dog if he remembered him, he said they had met before and I think he was his neighbor. Smiling widely, he said that neighbors should help each other. The beast looked back at him with glowing eyes. The main character remembered how he asked why there was a stray dog there. He served the dog food and said that he was probably hungry. Wenyu said that even though they became enemies for unknown reasons and want to kill each other, the situation has changed a little. Looking at the dog, he said that now they were both victims, and he needed his skills and strength so that they could survive. Continuing to run, he said if he agreed to sign a contract with him, they would be able to survive this crisis, and with his skills and experience, they would be able to defeat their enemies and become an invincible duo. He said that he would no longer have to wander alone. The purple energy emanating from his palm began to envelop the dog, and the main character said that he didn't know if he understood what he said, that they didn't have much time, and if he wanted to survive, he had to sign a contract with him. The mutant dog opened his eyes wide. A bright purple light engulfed him. The system reported that he had successfully signed the contract. The mutant lion waved his paw. He shot out a wave of flame. The main character quickly ran away using dexterity. The lion ran after them, growling. Wenyu exclaimed that this lion is very fast, and if not for this passive skill, he would have already died here. He opened his eyes wide. The lion swung its paw, and the main character was amazed to think that it was already next to him. Leo turned his head. Wenyu found himself a few meters away from it. Jumping forward, he said that he had just received this teleportation scroll, and it was not his plan to use it so early. Looking back, he clenched his teeth. He swung his blade. Having plunged it into his stomach, he clenched his teeth and thought that he would not allow it to come closer to him. The system reported the activation of the Berserk skill. The main character broke away from his pursuer with several large jumps. The guys stood on an empty street. The guy with the bangs held his brother's corpse in his hands, and they cursed and said that it killed him. Gritting his teeth, the guy said that he would definitely take revenge on him. The guy in the green jacket said that Wan and couldn't die in vain, and someone needs to be buried with him. The main character flashed in the air, leaving a purple trail behind him. Running up to a small building, he said that, fortunately, he was very familiar with the area, so he just circled and pulled away from the lion. But his wounds were still bleeding. He needed to be treated urgently. He entered the building and closed the door behind him. Inside, he exhaled and sat down on the floor. Wenyu took the blue potion in his hand. He drank it in one gulp. Looking at the glowing wound on his stomach, he said he felt warm and the medicine seemed to be working. He asked how long it would take for his wounds to heal at this rate. Looking down, he thought that this dog must have a healing skill. The main character put his palm on the dog's black fur. Yellow energy enveloped them, and the system announced the activation of a B-rank skill, Fast Recovery. Looking at the glowing wound, he said that the process was much faster now, and as expected from the skill, it could help survive the crazy attacks of the flaming lion. Sighing, Wenyu said that danger was literally at every turn, and he needed to continue to hide until he fully recovered. Saying that he was getting sleepy, he closed his eyes. The next day came. The protagonist's face was covered with sweat, and he opened his eyes. Looking at his stomach, he said that his body had completely recovered. The mutated dog stood next to him, and his eye no longer glowed. Wagging his tail, he placed a paw on his palm. Wenyu thought that this dog had also fully recovered. Smiling, he stroked the dog. Looking at the palm shrouded in light, he thought that the relationship between the soul master and the spirit pets was not slavery or submission. Hugging the dog, he said that not only did they recover at the same time, but their bond with each other became much stronger. The dog wagged its tail and the main character said that since they now work and survive together, they should rely on each other in the future, and once they become strong enough, they will return and beat that lion. Someone's silhouette was visible outside the window. Someone broke the window with their hand, reaching inside. The main character looked sharply towards the window. A crowd of zombies rushed inside. Wenyu and the dog prepared to fight, and the main character said that meeting zombies in a place like this is very rare. He cut one of the zombies with his blade. He asked why so many zombies suddenly appeared here. Hearing the mechanical rumble, Wenyu turned around. A spiked SUV drove in, knocking down zombies as it went. Standing among the ruins of the house, the main character looked at the car. The man standing on the car said that the brakes of this car did not work, and he almost vomited. He asked if there were any survivors here. Noticing the main character, he asked if he was okay. Wenyu said yes. The man, waving his hand, told him to jump here because there were still a lot of zombies nearby, and they would take him to a safe place. Looking at him, the main character thought that it looked like he would be with them now. He walked up to their car. The man said with a smile that he was very lucky that they found him, otherwise he would have been in a lot of trouble. A new wave of zombies began to approach the car. The man asked Hutsu what he was waiting for, because they had to leave here. Hutsu, sitting behind the wheel, obeyed with a grin. The wheels of the car began to spin. They drove to the front, and Hutsu shouted to the others to buckle up. Their SUV flew through the air above a crowd of zombies. The man said with a smile that it was time to catch the prey. They lifted up a huge net. The main character noticed with curiosity that it was a fishing net. Looking at them, he thought that he had heard of such a method in his past life, using a fishing net to catch level 0 zombies, but he did not think that there would be someone who would use this method immediately after the apocalypse began. The man grinned and said that they had a few other guys at the base who didn't get their profession, and they wanted to help them score some points with the help of these zombies. They were carrying a fishing net full of zombies. The man told the main character that his dog looked quite interesting. He asked where he got it. Wenyu said, hidden profession. The bald guy asked if there were also hidden professions in this crazy world. The man, sitting down next to the main character, said that he seemed to be very lucky, but looked like he had been through a lot. He asked where he was from. The main character said that he was in the city when the fiery lion attacked him, so he ran away and hid here until his body recovered. Extending his hand, he introduced himself and thanked him for his help. The man, shaking his hand with a big smile, told him not to worry about it, and in the current situation, they should help each other, and since he jumped into their car, he is one of them. He said his name was Sun Ruixing, and they were in charge of a small gathering place in a city nearby. They were approaching something resembling a fortress. Sun Ruixing smiled widely. Wenyu opened his eyes in amazement. In front of them was a strong stone wall, and the man welcomed him to the city of Yellen. The heavy gates slowly began to open. Many people came out. The guy said that Sun Ruixing and the others have returned, and they brought a lot of zombies with them. The guy with green hair exclaimed that the boss is amazing and now they can get more professions. A crowd gathered around the SUV. People waved to the arriving men. The main character asked if this was the place he mentioned. Sun Ruixing said yes with a smile, and he used to be a mover, but when the apocalypse began, many died. He said that he gathered everyone left in the area so that everyone could survive and help each other. Putting his hand on his shoulder, he said that today they were supposed to go into the city to clarify the situation and make sure that the authorities had everything under control. But there were so many zombies that they had to turn around and go back. He asked about being from the city and if he could tell everyone what was happening there. Sun Ruixing said that almost everyone here thinks that the city is much safer and the government will help them, so they plan to escape to government shelters. The main character agreed. He thought that state shelters were not an option at all, because the first wave of zombie invasion would turn 20% of people into their own kind. And, despite the fact that Yellen is a small city, it would be much safer here. In addition, there is a catastrophe that will happen in a year and a half. Sun Ruixing clapped his hands and told everyone to calm down. People looked at him with a smile, saying that this time they went straight to the city and probably brought some good news, and they are sure that the government will help them. Sun Ruixing said that as they all know, today he took a few people with professions with him to head to the city, but there were too many zombies there, so they had no choice but to go back. He said that on the way back they met a survivor named Wenyu who escaped from the city, so he wants them all to listen to him tell what's going on in the city. The main character, frowning, was silent for a while. He said that, to be honest, the situation in the city is quite dire, much worse than here. The man shouted that he was lying, and the authorities had probably already launched a rescue operation, and he looked like an intruder and therefore ran away. Closing his eyes, Wenyu said that he told them the truth, and it was their decision to believe him or not. The crowd shouted that the government would definitely save them, because there were several special agencies and the army in the city, so he was definitely lying. Sun Ruixing smiled awkwardly and said that what Wenyu said may or may not be right, and in any case, they have no evidence of either, so he will go to the city again tomorrow to see with his own eyes and then tell them. The man, raising his hand, demanded to take them with him, because he does not believe that the authorities cannot deal with all these zombies. Sun Ruixing asked them not to be angry and suggested they talk about it tomorrow. Two guys stood at a distance from the crowd. The guy with blonde hair said that this is their chance, and once Sun Ruixing leaves tomorrow, they will completely take control of this place. The guy in the hood asked what would happen if he returned. The guy with blonde hair grinned and said that he couldn't. The guy in the hood asked why. He replied that he would find out when the time came. Sun Ruixing tried to calm the crowd. The main character frowned and looked to the side. He looked at the two guys. Sun Ruixing told everyone to go back and rest, and they would prepare for tomorrow's reconnaissance later. The guy told Mayor Lee that it looked like they had been declassified. Mayor Lee turned around and said that anyone who dared to stand in his way would be killed. Sun Ruixing, putting his hand on the main character's shoulder, told him not to pay attention, because they all just need to believe in something. The main character said that he doesn't pay attention. He asked if he had lived in Yellen City since childhood. Sun Ruixing, closing his eyes, said yes, and he used to be in the transport business when the apocalypse came. And his daughter was studying at the university in Yongjin, and now he doesn't even know what happened to her. Wenyu told him not to worry and he is confident that she is safe. Sun Ruixing said with a smile that he hoped so. He said that, in any case, he would need to go to the city tomorrow. He asked if he could stay here and take care of everyone while he was gone. The main character agreed and said that he would need to leave immediately after his return. He said that the mutated beast that was hunting him might come here, so he would need to leave here. Sun Ruixing said that he understands and if he needs help, he can contact them. He said he would help in any way he could. The sun shone over the destroyed buildings and trees. The mutant rat sniffed. It drew attention to the green sprout. Opening its mouth, it tried to bite it. Suddenly the sprout wrapped itself around the rat's body like a rope. The plant dragged the rat underground. Soon there was nothing left of them. The guy asked what were the preparations. The two guys in front of him said everything was ready. Mayor Lee closed his eyes and said that Sun Ruixing was trying to ignore the authorities and become the king of this place. He told Zun that he should not let him win. Zun, an elderly man with blonde hair, told him not to worry, because even if he had to sacrifice his life, he would not let Sun Ruixing's plan come true. Mayor Lee said he would leave everything to him. Handing him the item, he told him when they got into the car tomorrow to just light it and not think about anything. Yawning, Zun said that he would go. Waving his hand, he said that he needed to rest before tomorrow's trip. The hooded guy asked if it was safe to leave such an important task to this old man. Mayor Lee with a grin told him not to worry, because he will definitely do it. He is the official mayor of this city, so he trusts him. He chuckled and said that the people Sun Ruixing was trying to save betrayed him so quickly. The guy with the black bandage on his forehead frowned darkly. Slapping him on the shoulder, Mayor Lee told Lin Hu not to worry, because he was not talking about him now. Lin Hu said that he would be in charge of the household tomorrow, and he had already talked to most of the patrols. He said that when the mayor arrived, he would be received without any problems. Turning around, he reminded him of his promises. Mayor Lee said that there is no need to worry, and he will get whatever he wants, be it girls, money, or power. Lin Hu asked what kind of stick he gave the old man. Mayor Lee chuckled and said that this was something he took from the treasure land. Transparent smoke rose from the car into the blue sky. An SUV covered in spikes was driving along a road full of rock debris. Sun Ruixing asked Zun what he was doing. Zun said that he knew that this time it would be more dangerous than before, so he decided to offer tribute to the Lord and ask him for protection. The smoke went into the forest, and Sun Ruixing said it was smart. The beast smelled it. Several animals ominously followed the smoke. The zombies also noticed the trail of smoke. Growling furiously, the zombies chased after them instead of the animals. Sun Ruixing told everyone to get ready and be on alert because they were approaching the city. The main character and the dog were lying in an abandoned building. The spirit pet suddenly flew out of his chest. It said something to him worriedly. Wenyu said it was troublesome and he knew he shouldn't have agreed to stay here. The guys were holding different weapons in their hands. Many people followed Mayor Lee. Ordinary people sat among the destroyed buildings. Lin Hu exclaimed that Mayor Lee had come. Mayor Lee asked to be allowed to present. He said the name was Lian Quan, the mayor of Yellen City. Everyone turned to look at him and he said that he was here to inform them that the authorities had launched a rescue operation and he was in charge of Yellen City. Frowning, he said that this evil Sun Ruixing had deceived and betrayed them for his own interests, and he wanted to take advantage of this situation to become king and rule over them. People opened their mouths in amazement. Lian Quan said that the Lin brothers took the initiative to contact the authorities and allowed him to come here to take everyone to the official camp. He said that there is food and all the necessary resources there, so they can worry, there will be no problems with zombies and mutants. The guy exclaimed that this couldn't be true, and he would never have thought that Sun Ruixing was such a person. He said he believes they can't judge a book by its cover. Lian Quan raised his hand and asked if they wanted to return to camp with him. Someone said they were coming. Someone else said, laughing, that he knew the authorities would look into it. Li and Quan said and get in line, because there is a vehicle outside that will take them to a safe place. Someone behind him said he didn't think so. The main character jumped out of the window. After landing, he said that he promised Sun Ruixing that he would protect this place until he returned. Straightening up, he said that he didn't want to get involved in this business, but he couldn't let them leave this town. Li and Quan asked displeasedly who he was. He rudely told him to get out of here because it didn't concern him. When Yu asked if this was true, walking towards him, he said that he would not comment on whether the words about the camp, food and resources were true, but no one was allowed to leave the city until morning. Li and Quan asked with a grin if he thought he could stop them himself. The main character said that he thinks they don't understand a lot of what's going on here, but it's okay because now they know everything. Li and Quan looked at him questioningly. When he ordered the dog to show them, and he jumped over him. Opening his mouth, he roared loudly. Li and Quan and his subordinates covered their faces with their hands from the gust of wind. The main character ordered the dog to leave the mayor, and those who had not yet received a profession, and not to show pity for the rest. Li and Quan asked in amazement where he got the mutant. The dog, shrouded in purple energy, jumped to attack. Blood gushed out. There was a cry that this dog had killed someone. Among the splashes of blood were screams of horror, cries for help and cries for mercy. The dog stood on several corpses. When Yu said that is enough, he asked the mayor if he understood now. Li and Quan looked at him in fear. The main character said that he has no power here, but he has power. He turned around while Li and Quan sat silently on the ground. When Yu said that he could offer to stay until Sun Ruixing returned. He opened the door to the building. The little child exclaimed that he was very scary. The woman covered his mouth with her hand in fear. The guy asked Li and Quan what they should do. Li and Quan replied that they had no choice but to wait. Someone, waving his hand, shouted to him that he had something to report. Seeing the pile of corpses around them, he turned pale. Li and Quan shouted at him to speak faster. The guy shouted that he saw Sun Ruixing and he was returning in a truck. Li and Quan exclaimed in amazement. The truck was driving among the trees. Its wheels kicked up dust over the road. Sun Ruixing, holding the truck's steering wheel angrily, said that he had to go back because he still hadn't seen his daughter. A few hours ago, Zun asked how soon they would reach the city. Sun Ruixing said about half an hour more. Someone shouted to him that there were a lot of mutants here. When he got up, he saw overturned trucks enveloped in flames. Sun Ruixing shouted to increase speed because they were about to lose them. The bald guy, clutching his head, said that it was too late. The spike truck bounced off the ground. The main character saw a truck flying above the ground. The truck hit the ground with its nose, and he thought it was a Sun Ruixing truck. He ran to the burning car. Shielding his face from the flame with his hand, he extended his hand to the door. He threw the door aside. Sun Ruixing told him that they were all dead. When Yu raised his head in amazement, he saw a crowd of zombies approaching. A huge crowd of zombies broke through the open gate. Sun Ruixing told the protagonist to leave him and run away. Frowning, the protagonist told him not to worry. Looking at the dog flying in the air, he said that he would not die today. A strong blow to the ground occurred among wild animals. A mutated dog attacked one of the mutants. Sun Ruixing said that his mutant is strong. He asked if he could handle an entire group of mutants alone. The main character said that these are all first-level mutants, so there shouldn't be any problems. The dog stood among the wild mutants, and when Yu said that this would be a fierce battle, it threw back the beasts around him. The system reported the activation of the Berserk skill. The dog opened his mouth wide. He tore off the head of one of the animals. Frowning, the protagonist thought that, apparently, without significant injury, an S-rank skill only provides a slight increase in combat effectiveness, and a true increase in combat effectiveness only occurs after receiving a serious injury. Looking at the dog surrounded by dead beasts, he thought that without injuries hindering the ability to fight, the skill could increase the fighting ability by 3 times. He said that he was sorry that the dog's restoration ability was not strong enough to support his fighting style, and once he obtained the beast's soul with the restoration ability, he would need to remove this skill. Sun Ruixing smiled awkwardly and said that his animal was really scary. When Yu said that this is not an ordinary animal, he is literally a fighting beast. Bowing, Sun Ruixing thanked him for saving him. The main character said that this was nothing. He took something out of the beast's body. It was a green crystal. By crushing the crystals, he absorbed their energy. He told Sun Ruixing that there was trouble at the base, and after he left, Lin Hu betrayed him and joined Mayor Li. He said that Mayor Li brought a group of people and wanted to take everyone away from here. Turning around, Wen Yu said that he was here now and it was time for him to go. Sun Ruixing stopped him and asked if he thought what he was doing was right. Turning around, the main character said that he didn't know this. He asked why he was doing this, for himself or for the people who live on the base. Sun Ruixing said that he is doing this for the people at the base. Wenyu said that in this case he has two options. The first is to become a leader, as he was before, but with his combat training he will not live even 2 months. The second option is to join Mayor Lee's base, so everyone will have a better chance of survival, but then he will be under someone's command. Closing his eyes, Sun Ruixing said that he understood. He walked up to Li and Quan. He said that for the sake of the surviving people, he wants to join his base. He asked if he agreed to this. Li and Quan said yes, and he can call him Brother Li. Placing his hands on his shoulders, he said that since they had the same goal, they would fight together to stop this disaster. He asked him who this Wenyu was and whether he would stay with them. Sun Ruixing said that he met him at the factory square. He is very strong, but he doesn't want to stay anywhere for a long time, so they won't be able to convince him. Li and Quan said he was very sorry. The main character, leaving, called the dog after him and said that they do not know when this flaming lion will come for them. Half an hour later, white clouds floated across the sky above the road. Wenyu said that after they pass this farm, they must pass another small town. He looked at the field in front of them. Raising his index finger, the main character told the dog to be quiet, because he had a feeling that something was wrong with this place. The dog looked at him questioningly. Wenyu, putting his hand on his head, said that they must pass this place no matter what happens. He asked why don't he go ahead and look around first. The dog objected that he was trying to kill him. The main character told him not to worry, because if there is anything dangerous here, he will bring him back. The dog remained silent with displeasure, and Wenyu wished him good luck. Agreeing, the dog ran forward. Green stems rose above the ground. The stems grabbed the dog's paw. They hit the dog on the ground among the ears of corn. The main character thought that, as he expected, it was really dangerous here. The plant completely grabbed the dog, enveloping him from paws to muzzle. The dog clenched his teeth and screamed, unable to move. The system reported the activation of the second kingdom of souls. Wenyu, closing his eyes, told him not to be afraid, because he would save him now. The dog disappeared from the plant's grasp. He appeared from a blue portal next to the main character. The dog landed on the ground. The main character smiled awkwardly and praised him for his excellent work. The dog barked sadly in response. He turned around sharply. Green vines were approaching them. Wenyu, his mouth wide open, also turned around. The vines, straightening up, rushed towards him. The main character cut them by waving his knife. He dropped to one knee. He glanced at the torn stems in front of him. Wenyu said with a frown that this grass mutant just almost hit him, and it seems that the attack range is limited, about 10 meters. He told the dog to change direction and try again, because there weren't many of them here and there had to be some way to overcome this. The dog ran up to a pile of plants. He growled and the vines attacked him. The plants completely enveloped him. The system reported the activation of the second soul kingdom. The dog fell out of the portal. The main character praised him for his good work. Looking at the plants, he said that this mutant seemed to move freely underground, and when someone moved on the surface, he had no problem grabbing it. The plant's stems were covered in thorns, and Wenyu said that although the attack range was limited, it would eventually completely take over the city and cause a lot of trouble. Squinting his eyes, he said, if there are more people here who will keep an eye on it. Under the night sky, a wooden fence stood among the trees. Many people stood around the fire. There were many tents around them. Sun Ruixing told Li and Quan that he was afraid that his measures against these old people were a little inappropriate. Li and Quan asked with a smile what he was talking about. Sun Ruixing said that they are forced to do manual labor, washing and cooking, even living outside the camp, and thus he is afraid that these people will have many complaints about the camp. Li and Quan said that danger is everywhere, and now those who can fight are in the camp, and those who do not have fighting ability cannot simply do nothing. He said that they would let them do what they could, because it was much better than just protecting them. He told him not to worry and he would take care of the elderly and children. Getting up from the table, Sun Ruixing said, if so, then he will listen to him and hope that everyone will have equal rights. He said it was time for him to go and he hoped he would keep his promise. He left the tent. The guy in the hood said they have a chance. Li and Quan told him not to attack, because this Sun Ruixing is very strong, and he can do more than the usual 10 people combined. He told him with a grin to get the people out of here who are incapable of anything and have just joined the camp because they ate too much. The guy in the hood complied. Looking into the tent, the guy said that the guy with the huge dog had returned back. Li and Quan opened his mouth in amazement. The main character, entering inside, said with a wide smile that they had not seen each other for a long time. Li and Quan smiled awkwardly and stood up. Shaking his hand, he greeted him. He asked why he returned, because he thought that he was planning to leave the city. Wenyu said that he really planned to leave, but now he can't and neither can they. Lee and Kwon asked what he was talking about. The main character said that the city of Yellen is surrounded by mutant plants that are slowly spreading, and in a few days the entire city will be filled with them. Lee and Kwon asked if he was joking. Wenyu told him if he didn't believe him, send his men to check. He said that he had already seen several mutants on the way here. Lee and Kwon asked if what he says is true, does he have any plan? The main character said that he has one plan, and he needs several people to keep an eye on these mutated plants. He said that if it dragged someone away, together they could get out. Lee and Kwon asked that he wanted to take some people from the camp to clear the way for him. Wenyu told him not to worry and he is not asking them to clear the way for him. Looking at the thickets of mutated plants, he said that he would clear the way for them. Sitting down at the table, he began to pour water into a mug and said that he would go ahead and take most of the pressure, and they would follow behind him and take a small part. The main character said that for every additional person, several mutant plants will be dispersed. The more people, the less pressure at the front. He said that who can survive depends on their abilities and luck. Holding the mug in his hand, he thought that it didn't matter to him whether he was ahead or behind the team. But being a leader in front sounded better and cannon fodder could be easier to accept. Lee and Kwon said that he recognizes his strength, but what he said is hard to believe. Sitting down at the table, he said that the city of Yellen is quite large. Even zombies cannot completely surround it. He asked if there might be more of these mutant plants than zombies. The wall was covered with cracks. The SUV flew into the premises, breaking the wall into pieces. The main character covered his face with his hand, and Lee and Kwon turned around. Sun Ruixing got out of the car and said that they were doomed. Lee and Kwon asked what happened. Sun Ruixing said with one eye closed that when he was on patrol, he came across many mutant plants that spread throughout the city and formed a siege. He said they had to run or everyone would die. Lee and Kwon thought that this meant that Wenyu was not making things up, and the situation was much more serious than they thought. Turning to the main character, he said that he agreed to his plan. Wenyu smiled and said that they could discuss the details. Lee and Kwon, agreeing, said that he has more than 300 people here. Half of them have not received a profession, so they will most likely die. The main character said that he was glad that he understood everything. Lee and Kwon told Lin Hu to go and call all the core camp staff for a meeting. After 20 minutes, the main character, Lee and Kwon and several other people from the camp were sitting at a large table. Sun Ruixing slammed his hand on the table and said that he did not agree with this plan. He told Lee and Kwon that he was completely wrong about him, because he was really sending the elderly and children to certain death. Lee and Kwon closed his eyes and said that he respected him, so he allowed him to join the meeting. But he didn't think that he would slander him like that. He asked if he didn't agree with them what ideas he had to let them all avoid the crisis. Sun Ruixing said that he didn't care what he said. He would still disagree. Lee and Kwon said that he may not agree, but his friend Wenyu came up with this plan. He told him when the time of death came, not to blame them for his stupidity. Turning to the main character, Sun Ruixing asked if he really came up with it. The main character said that life is never equal, and it is illogical for strong people to give in to the weak. He said that he should not be angry at him, but at these weak people for not being strong enough, and he could also be angry at this damn world. He said that now they only have two options. The first is to die together, and the second is to follow this plan. Sun Ruixing said that they should at least let these old people and children get into the car. Wenyu said the extra people on the vehicle means there will be fewer targets, which is important for attracting the attention of mutant plants. He said he would only ask once. He asked Sun Ruixing if these people's lives were more important than his. Sun Ruixing was confused and did not answer. Lee and Kwon asked if there was anyone else who disagreed with this plan. He said if there is no one, let everyone start preparing for tomorrow morning. Tell the people that order has been restored in Chase City, and they will move there. The main character said that if someone does not agree, kill them immediately, because it is better than letting them die in agony. Turning around, Sun Ruixing said that they were all just a bunch of cold-blooded idiots. The main character watched him leave. Approaching Lee and Kwon, he said to have a few people watch over Sun Ruixing that night, and if he told anyone about their plan, he would be responsible for killing him. He said that tomorrow's operation must not fail. Lee and Kwon agreed and asked if he and Sun Ruixing were not on friendly terms. Wenyu said that Sun Ruixing could foil their plan, and if he did this, he would block his path, which means he would want to take his life. He said that friendship is nothing when it comes to people who want him dead. Lee and Kwon said that he is a really smart person, The main character added that all zombies and mutated animals are killed by mutant plants, and this is a lot of wasted points. Lee and Quan asked what he meant. Wenyu said that instead of letting them be killed by the mutant plants, they should hunt them themselves. He said that last time he used something to attract mutated creatures to kill Sun Ruixing. He asked if he still had it. Easily wiping the sweat from his face, Lee and Quan asked that he knew everything. The main character said that he knows more than he can imagine. Lee and Quan said that he actually didn't want to hide such a thing, but he didn't expect that he would understand right away. He said that he only had one such item, which he received from the Land of Treasures. Smiling, he said that now that they were leaving, he could not take the treasure land with him. He called him with him to the Land of Treasures to take everything they needed. The main character said that he would go with him, but only for his own benefit. Lee and Quan told him to wait for him here because he needed to get ready. There were many dialogue boxes in front of Wenyu, and he thought that before entering the treasure land, he needed to increase his stats. Looking up, he thought that he would buy one crystal without attributes, and together with the previous crystals he had bought, that should be enough. A blue shiny stone appeared in the air. The dialogue box says, "You have successfully purchased a crystal without level 2 attributes. You have 400 points left in your account." Wenyu squeezed the stone in his hand. The system reported that its characteristics had been successfully increased. The main character said that he has 25 points, and now he can safely enter the Land of Treasures. Lee and Quan stood next to the tent. Noticing Wenyu, he asked if he was ready. The main character asked where the treasure land is. Lee and Quan said that it is in his room. Opening the entrance to the tent, he invited him inside. Pointing to the portal in the room, he said that this is the Land of Treasures, which is why he made his room here. Holding a blade in his hand, Wenyu told him to go in first. Lee and Quan said with an awkward smile that he was very careful. He told him not to worry because he wasn't trying to hurt him. He entered the blue portal, disintegrating into blue pixels. The main character, entering the portal, thought that he was glad that he did not want to do something stupid. He came out of the portal. There was a stone cave around them. Lee and Quan said that this treasure land is formed by 3 paths. Each path has a treasure chest at the end, and there are also some zombies roaming around. He said that following the rules, each person can open one chest, and he already went to the left and the middle, but only opened the chest in the middle. Wenyu asked why he didn't order his subordinates to go and open other chests. Lee and Quan told him to stop joking, because treasure chests often contain things that can make him stronger, and if he allows them to come here, he will create unnecessary problems for himself. Wenyu said he felt like he was too smart. He suggested checking the left side. Lee and Quan agreed and said that he had completely cleared the road there and killed the zombies, so he could walk in peace. They entered the cave tunnel. The main character climbed onto a chest standing on a stone. He thought that each person could open only one chest. As he opened the chest, he mentally told him not to disappoint him. The chest opened and Wenyu covered his face with his hand. The toy in the form of a toothy clown, laughing, said that he had deceived him. The main character cursed and threw the toy on the floor. Turning around, he told Lee and Quan to go and find someone with a profession to open the last chest. Lee and Quan obeyed. The system reported the opening of the second kingdom of souls. Holding a blade in his hand, Wenyu told his dog that there was only one way left and they needed to go and kill all the zombies. They entered the cave tunnel. The main character struck with a blade, while his dog tore apart opponents with his teeth. Someone called out to Wenyu from behind. Turning around, the main character struck with his blade, and Lee and Quan exclaimed in fear that it was him. Wenyu asked why he didn't speak up sooner, since he would have already died if he didn't stop. Lee and Quan scratched his head, apologized and said that he had brought a person with a profession. The main character suggested opening the third chest as soon as possible. Lee and Quan agreed. He said the third chest was right in front of them. Wenyu told the guy to go open the chest and give him what was inside. The guy approached the chest. The lid of the chest began to open, sparkling with bright light. Inside the chest was a scroll. The guy exclaimed that this was a skill scroll. Wenyu told him to give it to him. The guy frowned and grabbed the scroll with his hand. Starting to run away, he apologized and said that he found it first. The main character jumped up. After cutting off the guy's head, he landed in front of him. The guy fell to the ground. Wenyu caught the skill scroll. Frowning, he said that anyone who dared to steal his things would be dead. He picked up the scroll. The main character unrolled a scroll glowing yellow. The dialogue boxes say, Illusion, S-rank skill, a spatial ability that can temporarily disguise part or all of the body, used to pass through any object. Active skill that consumes stamina depending on the strength of the penetrating object. Lee and Quan's eyes sparkled. Wenyu said that this thing won't help them deal with mutant plants, but it's quite rare and he owes it. Lee and Quan said that this is not a problem. The main character asked if the guy he brought had a family. Lee and Kwon said that he has a younger brother, but he is a fool who still hasn't changed his profession. Standing in front of the blue portal, Wenyu told him to kill him. Lee and Kwon said that he would deal with it right away. The main character said that he would go to his place. He told him to let him know if anything happened. Falling onto the bed, he exhaled and said that he could finally rest. Hearing a knock, he asked who it was. A woman's voice said that she brought him food. Wenyu told her to come in. The girl in the black dress with long hair apologized for disturbing him and said that her name was Bai Fenfen. Wenyu told her to just put the food on the table. He looked at her, blushing slightly. Bai Fenfen said with a smile that she will put the food here. The main character asked if she had any other business with him. Bai Fenfen said that she just wanted to talk to him. Wenyu suddenly stood up in bed. Bai Fenfen said that she heard about what will happen tomorrow, and if he doesn't mind, she would like to make a deal with him. Pressing him to the bed, she said that she has a younger brother named Bai Zio, and he definitely won't be able to get out of Yellen City on his own. She said she wanted him to protect him and the reward for that would be her. Wenyu thought in amazement that this woman wants to exchange her body in exchange for protecting her brother, and he is not even sure that he himself will be able to get out tomorrow, and she wants him to take a burden with him. Closing his eyes, he said that he did not agree to this deal, and she could go. Bai Fenfen knelt down and said that she was begging him. If he could protect her brother, she would do whatever he asked. A portal appeared in the room, and the main character asked the dog to kick their guest out of here. A mutated dog appeared in the room and approached her. He kicked the frightened girl out of the main character's room. Wenyu thought that he was glad that he was determined, otherwise he would not have enough strength tomorrow. The next day, Lee and Kwon said that Yellen City is surrounded by mutant plants. Standing in front of a crowd of people, he said that today they are calling on everyone to come out, to lead them out of the blockade and into the safety of the nearby town of Che. The guy asked what was going on, because he didn't want to leave Yellen. Another guy asked why they had to leave because he thought the authorities would come for them. A plant glowing green appeared nearby. It grabbed the man, lifting him off the ground. The main character thought that the plants had already begun to act. The crowd began to run around randomly, shouting that there really were mutant plants here. Bai Fenfen asked Bai Xiong if he was okay. He said he was fine. Lee and Kwon, addressing everyone, told them to choose because they don't have much time. Either they go with them or stay here. He told those who wanted to go to stand on his left side, those who wanted to stay to stand on his right side. The guy said that even professionals could not resist the plants and died. He asked if they, mere mortals, had a chance to escape. Another guy, agreeing, asked what if they were killed in the first seconds. He said that he would not go anywhere and would stay near the car. He said he didn't think the plants could penetrate the car. Another guy said that he would not go to certain death. He would stay and think about how to survive. The other guy said he wasn't going anywhere either. Two guys with swords appeared in front of them. They swung their blades and the guy fell to the ground. The guy, in shock, asked why he was killing his own people. Lee and Kwon jumped off the car. With a grin, he told everyone not to worry, because he just wants to make life easier for those who decided to stay so that they don't have to suffer. He said that he would ask them again if they wanted to stay. The guy said it looked like they were destined to die anyway. Lee and Kwon said with a grin that there were no more objections. Trucks stood in formation among the trees. Lee and Kwon and Wenyu were standing on one of the cars. Plants moved around the trucks. The main character told him to warn the others to be ready because there will be a plant blockade soon. Lee and Kwon shouted to everyone to get ready and that they were speeding up. The trucks moved faster along the road. Wenyu exclaimed that something was wrong here. He said that when he came here last time, he was immediately attacked by plants, but now it's somehow too quiet. A rumble was heard from the field, raising a cloud of dust above the ground. They saw a wall of mutant plants. The plants hit the truck with force, overturning it. Swinging his blade, the main character thought that the plants were waiting for them to come in to attack. He jumped off the overturned truck. His eyes glowed blue and he said they were getting smarter. Wenyu landed on the ground. Straightening up, he looked out into the field. Someone among the mutant plants called for help. The main character suggested that the dog run away while these plants are busy with them. One of the plants rushed after him. Wenyu turned around, eyes wide. He cut down the approaching stems. Mutant plants enveloped the dog, who began to howl. The main character activated the second kingdom of souls. The dog jumped out of the portal, hugging him. Wenyu said that everything is fine now and they need to move on. He said that it is all thanks to those people who are now attracting the attention of these plants, and without them they would have died already. Sun Ruixing, cutting the plants, shouted to everyone to run faster, because he would not be able to hold them back for long on his own. Seeing mutant plants lift people into the air, he clenched his teeth. Bai Xiong, captured by the plants, shouted to his sister that he did not want to die. The mutant plants were quickly approaching Bai Fenfen. Li Yanquan cut the plants. He said that she had served him many times, so he would save her family. He said to follow him as closely as possible and never stop. He stood next to Bai Fenfen, holding Bai Xiong in his hands. Activating a rank skill, Shadow Clones, he began to run. The main character and his dog stood on a stone. Wenyu said he wondered how many people could survive. Noticing something, he turned around sharply. Seeing glowing red eyes in the bushes, he wondered who it was.